All right, we are live. This is episode 13, Legacy Lounge podcast, the Legacy Lounge. Oh man, where we chill, just have a conversation, talk about legacy, talk about everything so you can have a great legacy. Today, the home team hits a home run. What does that even mean? That means we winning. We're going to talk about what does it take to win. All right. Fans, you want to kick us off, start us off with anything? What your thoughts are on winning?
Winners win, right?
Winners win.
Winners win. Now,
Mm-hmm.
do I believe that people or winners are born or developed? I would say it's a development, and it starts with the mentality. Even if you have in the world of sports, a natural athleticism, even in
Mm-hmm.
the world of business, if you have a natural acumen,
Mm-hmm.
without what I like to call a PMA, positive mental attitude, it'll all be depleted. So winners are by design, not by default.
Yeah. True. Yeah, so I know when you said winners win, it reminds me of something that I posted on Facebook some time ago where I said, you're not born a winner or a loser, you're born a chooser. So
Mm,
make the right choices.
mm.
So that brings me to my next question is like what are the choices that you have to make in order to win? Like all of those little things that line up to the big win. You know,
Absolutely.
some
Absolutely.
people say like even the small wins, like oh, you woke up, you brushed your teeth, you made your bed. Do you count those as wins?
You have to, because if you don't wake up, there's that. So absolutely. And then the attitude of gratitude, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Facilitates and begets more beneficial things when you're thankful for waking up, right? When it's a choice to be thankful that you woke up, but it
Yeah.
comes with the realization of what you're able to do at that time. So absolutely.
Okay. So what wins do you have for today, Fancy?
Me, I woke up. We just talked about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going with that. I woke up, and for me, it's just a like a great book says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So every time I renew my mind, it's the win for me because just changing the channel and choosing, as you stated, my feelings, my ideology, my attitude, right? To be able to tap into that and do it, I think that's a win because a lot of people, I had a conversation with somebody recently and they were struggling with how they felt about themselves and their mentality. And I think that's a normal thing as humans, emotional, spiritual creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But what I said is that if you were sitting at home and there was something that came on TV and you didn't like it, would you just watch it or would you change the channel? And the same holds true with our person. We have the ability to change the channel, to actively seek out to change our thought process, our frame of mind, how we see each other, how we see others, how we see the situation. It's so profound what you said. It's always a choice.
Mm. I need to get that on a t-shirt. Change the channel. That's
Change the channel for sure.
that's
Well,
powerful.
you would sit there, right? If you're in any, I had a trip one time, and I think I was there less than 24 hours. I got there, I surveyed the place. You know me, I say you know the truth by the way it feel. It didn't feel like the truth. I turned right back around. And people were like, well, what about the people and how they felt? And what about the money? I said, well, money is a tool. And the most important thing is how I feel, right? So I changed the channel. I don't have to take this. And so if
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel good about the way you feel or the way you're thinking, you ain't got to. You
Mm-hmm.
get to change the channel. Everything's a choice.
Yeah, everything is a choice. That means also you can choose to your definition of what winning is. That's your own personal choice.
Absolutely.
Mm. So
Absolutely.
then if you feel like you're not winning, then it's just like what is your definition of winning? What is your definition of success? And then why are you not choosing to do the things that line up with your own definition of success or winning?
We're
Man,
so divine. The choices are so vast and so deep. A lot of times people just feel their feelings, but we're
mhm.
able to tell our feelings how to feel. Don't let your feelings guide you, right? You tell
Yeah.
your feelings how to feel. A lot of people call that discipline, right? When you're
Hmm.
doing something in spite of, you don't feel like getting up. But the discipline, you telling your feelings, listen, later for that. That part is not essential. It's the overall part. So just exercising those choices to get to that home run, right? Going through all of those bases just to make it.
Like acting or taking action in spite of your feelings is a win in
It
and of
is.
itself.
It
In
is.
and of itself. I can't tell you how many times, like, especially the obvious example is, oh, not wanting to get up and go to the gym. And it's like,
You don't bring that up on today when I didn't get up and go to the gym. Okay.
hey, but hey, you got other wins, right? You
I woke up.
got other
I'm
wins.
thinking when I woke up, and the day
Mhm.
is not over, so it could
Mhm.
happen.
Look, yeah, because like how we talking about home run in baseball, what do you get? Like three strikes and you're out. So you
Mm-hmm.
got three chances. Hey, at
Mm-hmm.
least if you hit it out of the park one of those three times,
That part. That part.
that's all it takes. Man, that brings makes me think of how people are afraid to try to win. Not even like people
Mm.
are afraid to dedicate their mind to winning. It's like
Mm.
you play not to lose, you're not playing to win.
That was deep.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind went. Because I
That's
know
a
even
safe space.
sometimes in my own life, it's like I know I'm not putting my all into it. I know if I really tried, I could knock this thing out the park. But I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna play just to get on base.
Mm.
I'm not over here swinging for the fences. Mm. And sometimes you need somebody to kind of just be like, hey man, it's okay to go for it. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to go for it. Like be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, mm,
Absolutely.
mm, mm. Man, teamwork make the dream work.
It does. And when you have people like that around you, I can recall having a conversation and I was just overwhelmed with anxiety and I was consumed with doubt, just normal human emotions.
Hmm.
And I was talking to somebody and I had the what ifs. And what if it don't go right? And what if it do this? And they counteracted they let me get them all out. And then they counteracted all of them to saying, what if it's the opposite?
Yeah,
So you need people like that around you to encourage you and help you maybe change your channel even if you can't, right? So
mhm.
definitely the team that you surround yourself with um, is so imperative.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you need somebody to come and throw the whole TV out. Like, hey, we need a new TV. You got the big back, wide back TV now. You need the
Get
smart TV.
together, upgrade you. Let me
Mhm.
upgrade you.
Yeah, because also just like all of those negative mental thoughts, those old TVs are heavy. You can't be
Yeah, oh, that's
carrying that
good, Pete.
around.
That's good.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's another reason why I don't help people move furniture anymore. They're like, "Oh, Tino, you big and strong." I'm like, "Nah, I see that TV." Nah.
Right? Did you had a conversation with a pizza party like you in middle school? Got some
Yo,
beer in the back, bro. Like,
yeah.
sir, no. Move
I was
past
talking
your
to
house.
I was talking to somebody recently, and they were telling me that they job through them a pizza party. I was like, "Oh, something happened. Something happened when they throw out that pizza, especially if they give you the good pizza, not like just like the basic pizza."
That went over my head. It's tears to the pizza.
Yeah,
Regardless of the type of pizza you
yeah.
get.
Like, oh, we got meat lovers instead of just cheese or pepperoni. Something
Right.
happened.
That's funny. That's funny.
You look around, somebody ain't gonna be here by the end
Okay.
of the party.
Say something on the horizon for sure. Stuffed crust, huh? I'm on
Yeah,
it.
it was like a while ago where they was giving people grilled cheese sandwiches, like at some factory or some warehouse or something. Oh man, you got problems, you got issues, and it's like here's a grilled cheese sandwich.
And that ain't the cheese people showing up for. Cut the check. Huh? Give me sandwiches. I got a sandwich, a knuckle sandwich. That's crazy. But yeah,
Mm,
that's the reality we live in where people get to change the channel. And I think we see that more in this age where no longer, and either because they choose to or they recognize that they have to, or people are switching. You keep
yeah,
your pizza party, you keep your grilled cheese. People are going back to school. They're changing careers. They're doing things that are more advantageous for their future. recognizing that indeed they do have choices and they're exercising them.
Yeah, because sometimes it takes those L's are not losses, but they're learning lessons. But sometimes you need to take those L's. You need to get the however many slices of pizza and however many grilled cheese sandwiches to learn, like, hey, this isn't what I want anymore.
Yeah, and I don't have a tolerance for this anyway.
Yeah. My definition of winning is not a slice of pizza or a grilled cheese sandwich.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's another thing I like what you said at the beginning of the show, that you do get to define your definition of winning as well, right?
Yeah.
My son's father and my son was clowning me yesterday. You know how I am about 270s. And so I bought some 270s and they were like, you just have a weird gym shoe taste. And I was like, it worked for me. You know, you're not gonna make me feel no kind of way about things. So everybody has choices, so people prefer tattoos and they, think that makes them look good, but somebody else is like, they may think it looks ridiculous. So in the grand scheme of things, it's about how you feel. You get to choose your definition of success. What look good, what work for you, right? Yeah. And discard societal norms, right, in terms of what you're supposed to do. A lot of people all their lives have done what they're supposed to do, and they're angry, they're hurt, because what was supposed to happen from them doing what they're supposed to do is not transpired.
Yeah.
So I just think it's an exciting time for people to be aware of the choices and opportunities they have and be empowered to utilize them.
Yeah. It goes back to finding that right tribe, finding that right team, being in the right environment. It's like sometimes you're not buried, you're planted. So yeah. Oh man. And then just that mental toughness and dealing with defeat. So, when it comes to setbacks, learning lessons, things that we may describe as losses, it's all about your viewpoint on it. Because I know in my life, like, especially in the industry that we're in, I realize, like, hey, we can't get mad at whoever for what's going on. Like, sometimes I think of it like this. You can't get mad at your first grade teacher for not teaching you algebra or trigonometry or vector calculus. You was at the right place at the right time. Hey, vector calculus is... I'll tell you this story. So in college, vector calculus, the professor starts writing at one end of the board and is writing one long math equation. He gets to the end, the opposite end of the board, still the same math equation. And then he goes and he looks back and he goes, hey, you guys know Super Mario Bros? And I was like, yeah, where's this going? And then he goes, you know how when you start on one end of the screen and then you get to the end and then you pop back to the other side? And then he goes, boop, and keeps writing the same math equation. And I go, time out. That is not for me.
Now, in all fairness, have you ever been able to make practical application of vector calculus outside of that professor's? No, that looked like a no. No. I haven't heard of it. So.
No.
I never even heard of it.
That's the only thing I remember from that class.
That felt like the pizza party, didn't it? Like
he was like, "Hey, he was like, I'm gonna hit him with this Super Mario Bros. Joke
and get right back to it."
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but again, I can't get mad at my first grade teacher for being like, why didn't you show me vector calculus? Because I knew I was going to get this later on. Like, nah. But hey, that guy will forever stick. That was, you know what? Now that I think about it, that was probably a big learning lesson in and of itself. Like, he didn't teach me about vector calculus, but he taught me about life. Shout out to you, Professor. I don't know where you're at. I don't even remember your name, but if you're watching this,
That's funny. Great positive mental attitude. We had a work conference over the weekend, and one of the things that I appreciated, and I think you derived from it too, you might have been the one that got up and said it when you were talking about life happens in moments. So with that being said, of course, you couldn't have been upset with her or first grade teacher at that point, right? That wasn't the moment for that, right? So when those moments come, it's the recognition of them, recognizing, realizing what season you're in. And it's so funny how maybe not in that instance, but in so many other instances where we felt like it was a loss, life lesson, a setback, it came up later and it was preparation for something so much greater.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I can remember the old folks say, just keep living. And that
Oh
applies
man,
to so many, just keep living.
just keep living. I remember one of my uncles told me that when I was like, "Hey, uncle, man, my back hurt." He was like, "You ain't old enough to have a back. You just keep
Not,
living."
not the pain. You ain't old enough to have a back. Well, you don't know what a back is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh
funny.
man, that brings me to a lesson that I learned from my grandpa. You know, we were practicing some martial arts one day, and he did this move on me, and I was like, "Ah!" And he was like, "That didn't hurt." I was like, what? I was like, I'm in. He was like, no, Tina, you got to know the difference between pain and pressure. What I did was I just applied pressure. That wasn't pain. And when that hit me in the I was still locked up in this move. But when he said that, it hit my mind, and then I didn't feel it the same way anymore. I was like,
Wow.
oh, this is just pressure. And if I do this, is no more pressure. And better yet, I could flip it back on him. Look, man, get around some wise people. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm trying to see how that can make practical application. I can remember playing with my grandmother and I bit her and she bit me back. But I'm pretty sure that was pain and pleasure. She taught me real quick. There's a lesson in there somewhere. I know I never bit that lady no more. She bit me back. Pain and pressure. No pleasure. Let me know. I bet you won't do that no more. I didn't. I didn't. Woo. But he said that's not pain, that's pressure.
Oh man, for the people watching this, how many people bit their grandma? That's what I want to know.
It seemed like the right thing to do. We were playing. I'm not gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. Those who know me, if I have any family watching, they know what grandma I'm talking about, and they already know. They already know. It ain't too much I need to say. But yeah, life happens in moments. That prepared me.
Hey, that was your moment. That was your moment. You gotta be in. Okay, here's a question. How are you able to recognize that this is your moment?
You got to keep living. So they say hindsight is 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia and I were having a conversation about a conversation her and Arthur had,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about moments, and it was about, it goes back to how it feels, and you can look back and see that you missed moments, and it teaches you. You have to stay ready, don't get ready, because the moments don't come back. It only happens this way. There's no reverse on it.
Yeah. So they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Correct.
So you truly have to stay ready and be prepared for your moment.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to being prepared, a lot of people think that's just studying, where it's just like, okay, I got a lot of mental knowledge, but you have never applied it. You have never practiced. So it's like, are you truly prepared? Like, for example, going back to the martial arts, you could read all about martial arts and fighting, but if you don't practice it, if you don't know the proper way to throw a punch, when that moment comes, you're going to be on the bad side of luck on that end.
You see so many civilian men, I don't know if that's the right term, but they watch professional events, whether it's boxing, sport, basketball, could be NASCAR, and they got the whole play, right? But I think it was Mike Tyson who said everybody knows what to do until you get punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds good in theory, right? Until you get your head example.
Man told me back in the day, everybody a rocket scientist until it's time to go to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's good. Mm-hmm. So for me, I learned very soon. I feel like They always say knowledge is power, and I don't feel that way. I feel like the application of it, just like if you have a weapon, if you have a firearm, you can have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to properly use it, you might end up hurting yourself. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. I agree with you with that. It's the application and the uses of doing it.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be in that duel and that standoff, and it's like, man, you don't even know how to work your pistol.
Throw it at them.
Lightning with the blam blams.
Right?
Yeah.
Which goes back to what we kind of do, and it always does, is because I think we're in an information technology type time, and people have heard or know of an IUL 7702, maybe living benefits with life insurance now, maybe Forex, maybe cryptocurrency, right? We know this, but are people able to make practical application of it? Do you have your life insurance properly structured that you can utilize and your family members can utilize while you're living? You have coverage outside of your employer, right? So that it's something that is more beneficial for you than them. And when you separate or dissipate, you still got that coverage. So the knowledge is not, it's not enough.
Yeah. That reminds me, I was sitting with a client yesterday and just going over their life insurance, just breaking it down. She's like, I only got life insurance through my job. And so I just showed them the policy, and it was like, hey, you know, you need to work for a full-time employee. You need to work at least 50% of the time. So I was like, what is full-time for you? 80 hours. I was like, okay, so if you're not working at least 40 hours a week, this coverage is gone. Like these benefits, gone. And I'm like, okay, how does that play out when you got so much life going on? And I was just, hey, what if you slip, fall, injure yourself, can't go to work, you get diagnosed with an illness, you're in the hospital, you are not putting in your 40 hours. It's like, what if you late to work one day and it's just like, oh, well, you got 39.99 hours. You didn't hit the full 40. Whew. I was like, that's stressful. That's stressful. What if you need to take a mental day? You just
ignorance
like,
is bliss until it's not, right? Ignorance is bliss until it's not. Then it's really expensive. Then it's really hurtful. Now you're filled with a lot of regret. We heard about something over the weekend where somebody was made to feel away and they didn't do anything because of how they felt in that instance, but they were just filled with regret, right? From that stagnation from that point on. So yeah, ignorance is bliss until it ain't.
Yeah. Like how you say, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. You got to, prioritize, especially I'll say prioritize yourself, because the main person who's going to take care of your future self is your current self.
That's good.
Like, you are the only one who knows every thought that you've had, every move that you've made, everything. So, people come and go in your life, but 24/7, you got you.
Everywhere you go is everywhere you are. Bet on black or yourself if the black part is not applicable. Bet on you. Bet on yourself for sure. I was always taught, I think I've said it a couple of times here, mama may have, daddy may have, but God bless the child has got his own. Always want to have things structured and set up where you control it.
Yeah. So then why do we give up that control?
For me, I have actually a very hard time giving up control. I don't know if you've met me or not, but that is a my forte. I think that people have been conditioned to be followers, and so either by way of default or design with education system, not being taught independence for whatever reason from a toddler to an adolescent, right? But at some point in life we have to reparent ourselves, right? Because our parents did the best they could with what they had. But 9 times out of 10, you have more, right? And your parents want you to be more, so hopefully they set you up to be in a situation or position as that. But you just reparent yourself. You have to carve out that time in that space internally to see if the status quo and what everybody else is doing, if it works for you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not always the case. But because everybody is contributing to the 401k, everybody is doing, XYZ blase split, I don't mean this for you. The whole time we're telling our kids if everybody else did it, would you do it too? But then look at you.
Yeah, they said you don't always want to follow the masses because the M is silent.
Silent. That's right.
Just
That's
man,
right.
man, oh man. Yeah, it makes me think of are you looking for safety or empowerment?
Most people are looking for safety, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the safety part is a negative thing. The issue comes when people have a false sense of safety. You thought it was safe, but it wasn't. That's really the issue. I
Mm-hmm.
think that might be one of Maslow's laws, or maybe not, but it seems like it would be. We all want safety and security in any and every aspect, um, but it's the know-how of doing that. Just like with our diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a person who can eat whatever all the time, and it works for them, their system and their diet. You do it for 2 days, you out of commission. You hang it up, flat screen. You're out of there. You're out of there. So it takes that due diligence and digging to see, although it works for them, do it truly work for you?
Yeah. Like I tell people, don't eat like how I eat unless you're gonna work out like how I'm gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have breakfast yet. So
You didn't? I'm sure you had caffeine.
for sure. For sure. Uh makes me think of that old Folgers jingle.
The
Even though
best part,
yeah, that's not the best part of waking up, but a good cup of coffee helps,
yeah, it did help.
Mm-mm-mm. So, one of the things I have in my notes over here is courage and faith. Anything you want to talk about on that?
Sometimes you have to have the courage to have faith, because faith is the things that are unseen. So they kind of go hand in hand.
The courage to have faith.
Absolutely.
Wow. I had those two things separated in my mind. You're like
Mm-hmm.
right together. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because I was talking to some other entrepreneurial friends of mine, and we were talking about money, finance, things of that nature. And one of the common sayings is that it takes money to make money. And I was like, guys, sometimes it just takes courage and creativity. I was like, sometimes you just need to create something, put the offer out there, and then let it do what it's gonna do. And then from there, now that you got money, you can, put the exponent on it and just grow your wealth that way. But that even goes back to saying, like, for every wealthy family, it was always one person who had the courage and the faith to step out and do things differently.
I think they call those the black sheep. I don't know why it's a derogatory word or phrase.
Mm.
Anytime you're going against the grain or the status quo, or like they say, you're crazy until you're a genius, or
Yeah.
yeah,
So if there's only like one black sheep, wouldn't that black sheep be more valuable?
absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know why that's people taking that as a negative. Like I don't know that much about sheep, but if they like sheep make wool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have
We
you
make
ever
wool out of
had
sheep.
any wool made from a black sheep? That's got to be
Top tier.
different.
But people, everybody wants to be seen and heard. But going back to that word courage, sometimes people don't have the courage to stand out or stand alone. And a
Mm-hmm.
black sheep innately is that person, even if they had to grow and develop to it, right? But there's something inside of them that's saying something about that way ain't right. Something about that don't feel good, right? And so Like I said, you're crazy until it's genius. You're crazy until it works. You're crazy until you're the one who changed the trajectory of the family, right? So having the fortitude and the courage to have the faith to rely on yourself and that feeling within inside of you is paramount. And I don't think a lot of people don't have that.
So what can we do to trust more in that feeling that you were talking about?
I don't have all the answers. I don't know. I think that that's a number one with anything. I always commend people for the recognition of what they feel is not right or what they want to correct. I think recognizing it and knowing it. From there, that's when you can begin the work. And the work for everybody is different. It could be internal. It could be, well, it has to be internal.
It really goes back to our conversation with Dr. Barnes, where it was like, hey, sometimes you need to just do like a inventory on yourself and be like, what is it that I'm feeling right now? Where is it that I'm feeling it? How intense is it? Is it pain? Is it pressure? Somebody biting me? I got to bite them back.
Bring that up. Sometimes you do. You know what I'm saying? I took a bite out of things. That was the courage that I had.
Should have been a police officer taking a bite out of crowd.
Yeah, I remember that. Who was that? McGruff?
Yeah.
Jeez. Tino, I didn't know you was around in the 80s. You was there in the 80s, Tino? I didn't think so. Wait a minute.
Oh, man. Got some chompers.
So now I'm still in the fight for the bite, but my goal is to take a bite out of people having a lack of financial literacy, to empower them with the information that they need to be the proverbial black sheep, where they are now changing things for their family. They have the courage to have the faith to move in a different way, to not just have the knowledge, but utilize it.
Yeah.
So I'm still biting. I'm still biting down.
Hey. Man, I don't even know where I want to go with that, but I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah. It's a passion of mine in terms of doing that, because it's, I always say people are not stupid, but we are ignorant. Some people are ignorant to various different things. And so the way we eradicate that ignorance is with the knowledge and the tools to make practical application of the knowledge.
Yeah.
Now's the time. Now is the time. Now is the time.
Why is now the time?
Because what other time would it be? It can't be the past. It can't be later. It can only be now. That's all we have.
All you have is now. These divine moments where, again, life happens in moments. I truly hope that anybody watching this, whether you're watching it live, whether you catch the replay, is, are you able to see, recognize your moment? Because you may not get it again. Cue the 8 Mile soundtrack. Like,
Get one shot.
Yeah.
Because opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how this moment connects to another moment, where it's just looking back and it's like, oh, the butterfly effect. If I didn't drop my pencil and look over here, then I would have never seen this. And it's like the other day you were asking, like, how did we meet? Like, when did that happen? When did this connection happen? And I was like, that was a huge moment in our lives, and we didn't even
oblivious.
Yeah.
Oblivious.
Yeah, there's been so many things that happened since then, to the point where I'm like, I don't remember the initial thing, because it's been like boom, 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 boom.
Absolutely. And we ain't even got to the biggest boom.
That major home run. Got to just take laps around the park. Just wave that.
That's dope. That's dope. And we're gonna we need some really big rings, because we're building a really big team.
Yes. So one of the things that I've been doing lately, so when we're talking about having a vision, having a purpose, like really putting myself in that mindset, right? So for example, I was having a conversation recently, and somebody was talking about a house. And then they were telling me about the house. And I said, you know what? Why don't let's get into a little debate about your house. about what you want. Like, what color you want the carpets? They're like, oh, well, I want white carpets. I'm like, nah, you should get red carpets. They're like, nah, I should get white carpets. But what they didn't realize is that the more that they're defending this stance on their vision, on their future vision, what they want, the more it becomes solidified for them. And so now I know they're going to get their house. It's going to have the white carpets. It's going to be exactly, all the details are going to be exactly what they want. They're over here like walking around in their mind in their house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think we should do that more often. So like how you were saying, all the what if it doesn't happen? What if this doesn't happen? And then having somebody to challenge you on like, okay, what if it does happen? How are you going to feel after it happens? You know, you hit that home run. How's it going to feel going from first base to second base to third base back to home?
Yeah.
You know, you sitting in the dugout like, hey, y'all saw that? Y'all saw that? You know, I saw this little video of this kid who I think he hit a home run, and he was like, yeah, boy, he was just going. He was just pumped up. And man, just that excitement, that enthusiasm. I was like, this kid got it. This kid, he knew this is my moment. I'm gonna knock it out of the park, and I'm gonna just celebrate everything along the way.
I agree with what you did with that exercise, because I feel like when you are in that moment and they're challenging you, saying, no, it's gonna be white, right? Everything is connected. So now their senses, whatever helps us manifest, everything is tapped into that because you can feel it, you visualize it, right? And that puts you in the vein or the mode of receiving it. It puts you in an attitude of gratitude. And these are all the things that get us there. There's something I heard before, I can't remember how it was put, but they were saying like, if you worry about something and it happens, what you were worried about, well, you just worried twice. It was going to happen anyway. And then if it doesn't happen, you just wasted your time worrying.
Yeah. It goes the same on both sides. So if you expect something negative to happen, let's just say today is Thursday. And if I'm expecting something negative to happen on Monday, my weekend is ruined because I'm just the whole time, I'm just, oh, this thing is going to happen. Oh, this thing is going to happen. But even the reverse is true. If it's Thursday and I'm expecting a big win to happen on Monday, I'm going to be all excited about it. But at the same time, when that thing gets it, I may have ruined the moment or ruined the surprise. I may not show up with as much enthusiasm. This is why, you know, when winning awards, you're not supposed to tell the person that they won.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like if they're getting a big award or something, it's supposed to be like, hey, your name is called Fancy. You're like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you already knew, you're just going to walk up there like, yeah.
What's wrong with that? Just being cool. Like,
you could be cool, but it's that joy and that excitement.
You want the raw emotion?
Especially for not just for you, but for the people in the audience. You know, because they also didn't know that you won. So they're just there. The applause, the cheer, the support is going to be all genuine.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's kind of like before we went live and what I told you then, if you knew that I was going to tell you that, you would have been like,
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man. One of the things that we got to hit on is caring. I know you're always talking about people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And again, part of that winning team, that winning mentality, that winning attitude is you got to care. You can't be in the game and just not care.
You can, but it shows up in the medical field. One of the things they taught us about was bedside manner. So your bedside manner, there's a perfect storm of culmination because, of course, you have to have the clinical side, but it's frowned upon for you to just be so clinical and textbook without being endearing, without having that genuine care and concern for a person's well-being. Yeah, you may need to or want to do something to them because it's for them, but, you know, I can remember feeling like recognizing the compassion, They're not staying in a Ritz-Carlton, but you're just trying to do your job. But people are in pain. They're anxious. They're fearful. They're not at home. Their family isn't around them. And if you're coming on with your whole residue on you from the other side of the door and what you're going through, lacking the compassion for their physical and their mental state, that doesn't serve anybody. That doesn't serve anybody well. So the bedside manner is also something that is important for me to exude. It's who I am. So, but it's something that I bring in my business with consulting and helping people to design plans that are going to help propel their family.
Good, because you care about the success of you care about their success.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes in order to get a win for yourself, you may have to help somebody else get a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes back to you. So I know me and my clients, my clients, and my team, we do not lose. We do not lose. That's why I get all them cakes from my clients too. Them cakes, them dinners.
Cakes and stuff. Yeah. My clients all adopt me. I end up being somebody's niece, granddaughter, cousin. I just get adopted.
Yeah.
But they don't feed me like they feed you. I get invited to the cookouts and the barbecues, but I definitely get adopted and referred. All right. And it's so funny because me working with educators and me working with people in the medical field, the notion is the client base that you work with, you kind of emulate them. So nurses on the psych ward, we used to just be like, and the teachers who work with other children, you could see that too. And I worked in both situations and instances. And so what I notice about my clients, we emulate each other too, because people come around trying to talk to them or replace anything. They get kind of testy and feisty, and they're going to call me. And I told them, and I'm like, you don't know. I'm like, okay. Because I would have handled it the same way for you. So it's just one of those things. But then I'm not getting as much food as you. So I do have to check on that asset of it. I'm not getting a lot of cakes.
Hey, you gotta let people know that you eat.
I don't think it's a secret. They know I don't play with no food. But maybe I should be more vocal about that.
Tell them you don't bite them.
You ain't gonna let that go, I see. I see you're not gonna let that go. I see what you're doing there. Remind me not to share with you anymore. It's okay.
It's just like, hey, I'm hungry.
Okay. We were playing. It just seemed like the right thing to do. I was trying to get out of a move or something. And she didn't miss a beat. And I was like, ah.
That reminds me of another thing my grandpa told me. He said, there are no wrong, especially in a fight, there are no wrong moves. They're just inefficient ones. So if your body is telling you, hey, I need to bite this person in order to survive, it's not wrong. It may not be the best move, but it's what your body told you to do. You're trying to survive. You're trying to get out of the little thing. But she bite back.
Is that applicable in love as well, Mr. Newly Married Gordon? They say all is fair in love and war.
Well, I guess that depends on like what is your goal, you know? Because again, if we just gonna talk about biting people, that depends on the context. So
I'm over it.
Yeah, I would say, you know, what's your goal, and then how you communicate with your partner, your teammate, your spouse, whoever, you know. Because if he was also to come on here and say, yeah, this is something that me and my grandma just do. Okay, cool.
I just saw something about that, and it's funny because it was relatable. There are couples who like just bite each other or squeeze each other, and they call it like microaggressions of love. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I got some friends like back in the day, when we met up, we would just start jabbing and sparring with each other. Now to some random person, it was like, hey, why these people just met up like from two ends of the block, meet up and just start, yeah. That was just what we did. Mm-hmm. Now you can't do that to some random person.
No, I would advise against it.
Get your charge. But yeah, anything else you want to say on winning? Because I know you got to go soon. You got a full day of wins ahead of you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing in particular. Just encourage everybody else to uh, continue on their plight to win, recognize your choices, and adjust accordingly. Um, it's as simple as, like, I think we were talking about too. There's something going on with the GPS. It's like the GPS is don't be right no more. And you have to have that courage and that faith to go outside of it. I don't know if they in cahoots with the gas companies or what, but make those adjustments, because if your goal, you've got that defined goal of where you're going. If you need to take a detour, you don't just stop. You're gonna keep going. So make those adjustments. Keep winning, y'all.
Yeah, you got to know how to pivot. You got to know how to pivot. Man, my mind keeps going. Man, my mind keeps going back to my grandpa and like doing a bunch of martial arts and sparring with him. He was like, "Hey, you got to keep your feet moving. You don't want to block every attack. Sometimes you want to redirect it.
Mm.
You know, you don't want to just because if you blocking, you still getting hit.
Mm.
But instead of like me just constantly blocking, it's like, what if I just redirected it?
Mm.
Send that punch going some other way, and now the person's all off balance.
Love that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it. That's the cue. All
And that's
right.
you. So I would say for anybody watching this live on the replay, just put yourself in a winning mindset, you know, get yourself the mental fortitude, and then also be able to recognize your moment. Because life happens in moments. You don't know what's gonna come from this moment, but you got to just recognize, like, hey, you know, this is my chance, this is my one shot. Play the Eminem 8 Mile and get going. All right. And with that being said, you know, your legacy is on the line. I hope you have a great one and tune in next time. All right. We are out.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.